this point. Is there any order of business for emergencies? Okay, is there any attendance on Zoom, Carolyn?
No.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda approved. Okay, here we are, ready for a police report.
So there was one warrant arrest, and then they assisted with a federal law enforcement. It looks like there was an arrest on a subject in possession of child pornography. I think that was Quinn or out here in Wall, but also he wanted to let you know that there's plenty of staffing for both Friday and Saturday during the celebration. Other than that, not a whole lot.
Very good.
Do you have any questions?
So when you say plenty of staffing, so they'll be in town Thursday, Friday, Saturday, is that true?
For sure, Friday and Saturday, there's extra staffing.
Okay, okay, all right. All right, any other questions? All right,
Okay.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Have a great weekend.
You as well.
We're glad you're here.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to approving the consent agenda. Okay, so, we've become aware that we do,
No.
Motion first. Motion is second before discussion.
okay,
I make a,
You make.
I make a motion to approve the consent.
okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
Yes, I would like to pull the consent agenda, from the June 21st, meeting, and make the change, and accept the resignation of Lori, to read and terminate Lori, please.
Now, Mike, are you talking about the minutes for the June 21st meeting?
Correct,
Okay. So you're making that as a motion,
as a change.
as a change?
And what are we changing again?
To accept the resignation of Lori and changing it to and terminate Lori.
Okay. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in,
If I could just point out, because I had on there cleanup costs under the claims. Because I had additional cleanup costs.
okay,
that's not
can I
included.
go ahead and get a approval of this revision that he just made at this,
Okay,
for this, and then we'll come back to that, okay?
Okay.
So all those in favor of the revision that Mike just made a motion for, and that was seconded? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and so then Carolyn, about the cleanup costs?
well, I had just gotten these in at the end of the day and I wasn't able to get them on, the bill list that you guys have. So, there was the Crown, oil for, $355.20. And to, Todd, Sealer TDM excavating for $1,530. And an additional bill also from him for $6,737.05. That would be it,
Okay, so those are in addition to
that were not on that list that you're.
the list that you had provided for us earlier. Okay,
And do we have to make a motion for that?
Just if you want to include all bills. I just want you to be aware because they weren't on that list that you got sent in your packet.
So I make a motion that we,
If
Approve
you
this.
approve
You
this
just stand by
motion,
your motion.
just
Okay.
stand by your motion. I just
Gotcha.
wanted to bring those up. so
Gotcha.
That you were
Okay.
aware of that.
okay. All right, any other corrections then? Okay, with those two announcements, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda regarding the other items on that list?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, that brings us to change order number 2 and pay request number 6. And I think that might be just what you handed out a moment.
So just some brief, updates. I'll start with that change order 2, pay request 6, so that is for the street improvement projects that 2021. The change order part of it was to seal the tennis courts. There's some large cracks in the tennis courts. We sealed those as well. And then we also added a fog seal to the streets, which is kind of a final oil coat. Part of the pay application for the street improvement part of it was for the chip seal. And then that captures that change order as well. So it's really just kind of trying to get to the tail end of 2021. We still got landscaping stuff. We're trying to landscaping and a few curb and gutter items too that we're talking to Simon about that we're didn't get them back in here. They put some more seed down the other day, but they still need to do some additional cleanup of better dirt. One individual has sprinklers that still need to be addressed. So there's still some things that we gotta talk to Simon and get their attention a little better. We're gonna talk to them about some liquidated damages as well and get them moving. We've given them enough time to react, so.
What is fog seal?
So fog seal, the chip seal, the rocks go down, and then the next day, the fog seal is another oil on top of the chip seals. And what it does is just provides another protection of oil seal for the pavement is what it does. It kind of locks in the chips a little more.
Just an extra step.
Extra step, yeah. We originally actually pulled that out of the project, trying to save some money, and then we were coming in under budget on the project, so Garrett and I talked about, let's put that back in, and just helps with the long-term maintenance of it.
Yeah, I think you guys approved it.
Yes.
Yeah, we approved the change order at the previous meeting. This is kind of just the paperwork of it. Any questions on that project? We're still withholding about $55,000 from Simon to make sure they get in there and do these last little few things we want to get them done. Other updates, Echo Valley subdivision. The mayor's working hard on the application back in the state housing. With that, we're kind of just waiting. Once we kind of hear on that, then we can move the project forwards. Up next on my list, I have industrial park development. I'm gonna have Cody speak to that. Cody's out in the field every day with watching the contractor, keeping track of quantities and different stuff. So I just want him to give that update.
Yeah, so I'm a part of the industrial park development and industrial park lift station. So as you guys have seen, construction began at the end of May and it's ongoing and will continue until August. We have 6-inch force main completed from 4th Avenue all the way to the southern portion of the first baseball fields. The lift station manholes have been installed. The wet well is completely installed to the bottom, and we will start within the next week of setting the dry valve, and we will backfill that. We're currently working on gravity sewer going north, so your gravity sewer from the lift station going north. And the first pay application ended on June 24th. And below the are the pay estimates for each of the 2 developments. So you have the industrial park development, which is $60,609.38, and then the industrial park lift station, which is $445,352. Any questions regarding the industrial park lift station as well as the industrial park development?
I have a question,
Yes,
Cody.
sir.
I heard the whole site is full of water. Is that true?
Yes, actually, well, as you guys know, with the torrential rain we got that, or Sunday. Today we actually spent all day working to pump that water out. So, within, I would say by the end of tomorrow, we will have that all pumped out and hopefully making progress again, but so far we have made pretty good progress according to the schedule, so.
Very good, thank you.
Can you explain how you're pumping that?
So there's like a generator and we hook up the generators to them and we're pumping them in the ditch.
But you're-
Field.
Going across the road?
Yes, so,
And because that's the way the water's flowing,
correct.
right? Because if you put it on the alfalfa field, would it not just run right
Well,
back into
we
that?
actually have the lift station pump going towards the alfalfa field. But previously, I don't know if you guys heard from last week, but we hit the water main, so we actually pumped it out that way as well. And we were successfully able to get the lift station pumped out, so.
So
I think as for now, there's no water coming back into our trench, but.
Perfect,
So I went out and looked too, and it's flowing to the west.
awesome. Okay,
We did ask that question about an hour ago, because we thought the same thing. More of just, hey, I guess making sure that's going away from the sites.
exactly. This country is never wet, we can't believe. It's a good thing you guys showed up, started digging, I guess, after all the rain.
And even though it put a lot of water in the trench and different things like that, the fact that they compacted everything beforehand, we'll have to kind of re-scarify the top footer so we get that sort of dry back out once they get all that water pumped out of there.
There's not much seepage to that after the compaction within.
So overall, it's going pretty well. They got a lot done up to this point. And that's why the industrial park lift station pay application one is so much higher than the other pay application. Just because they have a big chunk of that done, so.
Exactly. And what you did at the church looks really nice, so. Okay, anything else, or would you like a motion to approve that? Do we need to approve that? or-
Yes, motion to approve the industrial park lift station pay application.
I'd make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Finally on my list, Fourth Avenue reconstruction, so we're working through the design of that. We have the survey done, the geotech investigation's done. So now we're really going through and laying out where the curb and gutter is gonna go, driveways, and we met with Garrett beforehand, talking about the church, and we actually talked to Chris a little bit about the church driveway, and so we're kind of in that stages of, you know, figuring all that out, and water sewer and all that fun stuff, so. Yeah, we're still trying to be on track for having that ready towards the fall, December times. Any questions on that one?
Any question?
All right, thank you, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
If we could just go back, because I don't think I got a motion for the change order and the pay request to sign. So. I think we
Okay.
Moved into that.
Okay. So for the Simons, so
For
you're
the
talking,
change order and the pay request. we need a
Okay.
motion.
so I have a motion for the change request and the pay motion, did you say?
Change order
pay
and the
request.
Pay request, okay.
Except for the extra 3668. If we're making the motion right now, I'm lost.
The change order is, and then, yeah, the pay request is for. What was that?
Did-
You you have that amount real quick? What the pay request was?
68.
$68,697.54.
I make that one.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Okay, that brings us to visitors, Zach.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So, yeah, the first thing I'm on here for is, further talk on baseball fields. I did talk to a business in town, that said that they did show interest in helping out, the community and stuff. That they would talk to their, next level of people and, talk about maybe future talk of acquiring land from them, to put on baseball fields. And I've made it clear to them that this is just, future talk of maybe something that's going to come down the line. And I plan on also talking to, the school board, their next meeting next, Wednesday. And just get in talks with them as well and bring it up. That, I'd like to see the baseball fields moved in a better location.
Good job.
So that's all I got for that one.
Okay.
And then I'm on for permits.
Yep, sure.
Just, I'm putting in for the noise permit for the, annual one that we put in for malt beverage. So just looking to get a noise permit for that.
Like Waldrop gets one and the bars, if they have outdoor music and stuff, and then it's just an annual one, but he didn't get his liquor license kind of approval at the same time that the others did, so this is kind of new request.
And that's for the corner location there? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have to get, okays from the surrounding people?
We have an ordinance on a noise,
Okay,
a noise ordinance, and in there it states that if they would go past the timeline that it's required in ordinance, then they have already asked for approval for that. And that's why you guys are allowed to permit for them.
So is this for a specific date or just,
No, just for the annual one. Or for, so I don't have to keep coming and asking for permits.
okay.
Is it
So,
gonna be live bands and stuff?
We do plan on having live bands, yes.
And-
What's the cutoff time? Is it like 1 o'clock?
Well, I think like bars, they have to quit at 2:00.
2 o'clock?
Yeah, what time do you go to bed?
Usually 8:30 to 9.
Planning on Garrett being over there. So there you go. We'll get you set up.
Yeah, I don't know, the Red Rock already has stuff over there, and I can hear it from my house. And it doesn't-
okay,
I make a motion to approve.
okay, there's been a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Jerry seconded it. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, noise permit approved.
Thank you.
Okay, building permit. Is that where we're going next?
Yep. And yeah, I'm just changing the roofing material, from shingles to tin, going to tin it, and then, one window on the, bigger cabin. We're taking out 2 windows and making them 1, so it's gonna be like a 4x6 window in there.
We need a motion on that too. Also to approve.
Okay, there's motion and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so building permit approved.
Thank you. One
Banner permit?
banner permit for rally. Plan on having it up from August 4th to the 14th. Just burgers and beers. basically.
my only concern is where, because of the stop sign.
Yeah, so
And
Yeah, we haven't nailed down the location yet, but it'll be somewhere past those, like 4 trees that are there next to Garrett's. But, I guess whatever setback we need from that stop sign, we do it. But, we were thinking on that corner somewhere because of the stop sign, so people can stop and look at it.
If they stop.
Yeah, if they stop,
They
exactly.
might stop because they're
Might
reading the
help.
sign,
Yeah, it might help,
Might be listening to the band.
right? Exactly.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the banner permit?
So
Mike moved,
Second.
Rick seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Thank you guys very much.
boy,
One more thing I wanted to bring up, and I know this should probably be a public comment one, but I didn't talk to all brothers about their plans if they're gonna leave afterwards. But, at the city park, there's that stump, that's right in the middle of the playground equipment. I was wondering if the city would be open to talking with the Dahl brothers, if, you guys could hire them to do some artwork there. For the kids and, you know, for the community, because it's like a, I don't know, 4.5 foot stump, 5. It's, yeah. So I was just thinking, they have some pretty cool artwork and everything, and it'd be pretty cool to display it at our city park, but that's something you guys can talk to them about.
okay, good ideas.
Thank you.
We'll make note of that. Park. Right down there. Okay, Jim. I have you on the agenda here. We'd like to address us.
First of all, I'd just like to say thank you on behalf of my family for the cleanup and Garrett and Todd and the work everyone did. Long hours and dirty work. So we truly appreciate that. And the other thing was, we're gonna come and ask if there was any way that we could get a little help getting the hole filled and gravelled, and then we'd also like to ask, you know, if not, if there was a way, you know, we find a way to get it done, if we could have some kind of tent permit or something until the end of September to put on there. Serve alcohol and something off the grill.
Well, I think the one thing we would need, a couple of things we need, number one, I don't know that we're in a position to, we've spent like $50,000 or $60,000 for the 2020. I'm sure that the city was kind of decided to stop for now, but the rest up to you. And in order to get a liquor license and stuff, we would also have to have proof of insurance. And I don't know the process actually to go back. Carolyn on the, like the beer and wine license.
So, I had reached out to the Department of Revenue on how that works. And since the building is no longer there, it would be like a new application that you would need to apply for the malt beverage. And, it has to be a permanent structure for a, alcohol, the hard liquor to be issued to. So if it's, I mean, like a mobile truck or just
Sure.
something like that, the Department of Revenue will issue.
Or
It
tent.
has to be,
Camp
yeah,
wouldn't cover it either.
no, it has to be permanent structure. Is what they had explained to me.
Oh. You just found that out today, Carolyn.
I had sent it out on Friday because you were in the office and I just wanted to find out. Of course, it's the holiday weekend. I didn't get any response until this morning.
So if we were able to get it done, then if we could get a tent, we could still have beer then and food.
Well, you have to
Yes,
like
please.
reapply because it's a new thing and there's a timeline to that. So,
Sure. Yeah. Tricky, huh?
But you kind of have to have a plan. I assume we still gonna need a plan of some sort.
I didn't know it was difficult to serve liquor in a place we served it for 75 years. So, you know,
In a
so-
building though, that's the difference.
Alright, well, I'll process that information. You know, if we can't sell, liquor there, we can still sell, you know, beer or something else, I guess. We could sell trinkets or something. If we can get a tent permit.
Our ordinance does require you to have a structure for that, so
Does.
on Main Street.
Sure. Well, that's what we were asking for a one-time. What do you call it? Variance. And then that process for the application and stuff, Carolyn, how long does that take? Like, and then is there any way the state can, you know, do it faster or anything because of emergency? You know, I don't know any, I'm just asking random questions, thinking out loud.
We don't get to control the state, so I don't know.
Sure. I thought maybe you would know though. You know.
Yeah,
This is kind of a rare situation.
Have you checked with the state or anything?
No, I didn't think there would be that much problem, to be honest. Yeah. It's still on the same physical address.
Well, I think it'd be, what you should probably do is get a hold of them and start the process. It really isn't the city job to do that. Maybe they can come up with some variances of some sort. I mean, they got certain rules they follow in a timeline and
Sure. Well,
good idea of getting it ready by.
I guess, so the law is on the state level is because it was in a physical building, it switched.
and since that physical building is no longer there, it has to be like a new application for that.
Oh. Okay. All right, well, I guess I'll call tomorrow then. Excuse me. But yeah, we was waiting for a bid from Todd since Friday. See what it costs to fill in the hole and get it gravelled, obviously.
Okay.
So they one dust or whatever, but down the
And you
street.
plan to do that just on the 25 feet or what portion of the,
What's that?
if you were to set up a tent or.
Well, I was thinking,
Or whatever.
you know, 50 feet and then leave a barrier between the buildings of 25 feet, you know, so there'd be a nice gap and put it kind of in the middle. Or on the end if, you know, we could fence it or something off. But, you know, if you can't serve liquor or beers.
But Carolyn, what you're saying, it has to be a structure since it's on Main Street. It can't be a tent.
As far as for alcohol?
Yeah.
No, the Department of Revenue said it has to be a structure
Anywhere in the state
for
then?
alcohol, hard liquor,
It's a weird one.
without it being a special, you know, like they grant a special license to the celebration and it's on city property, so they have the ability to do that, but to issue someone else a liquor license, it has to be in structure.
So very confusing.
The liquor license now is under the Cactus Cafe and Lounge, and they're saying that's no longer no longer there. Is that?
Well, and, cause I said, you know, a tent or a food truck, and she said it has to be a structure. It has to be tied to a structure.
All right,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you. Okay, Dawn, chainsaw. Would you like to, you're next on agenda, would you like to come to the podium?
Was that the best way to do it?
Yes, sir.
Are you guys the brother?
Yeah, yeah.
And which one? Are you Garrett?
Jared, yep.
Jarrett
And Jordan.
and Jordan? Okay, cool, thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we're just wondering if we could get the approval of, we'd like to do a 30-foot sculpture of a jackalope. I don't know if you guys have a picture of it by chance.
Talking this one?
Yes, yep. So we did, a big sculpture similar like that in Keystone of a Bigfoot, and then we did one in Hill City of Smokey the Bear. And, we're just wondering if we could do that at our 508 Glen Street location here in town of a jackalope. And then that would kind of be the start of our business, and then start displaying and kind of go from there, opening our business, so.
Jordan, with the horns, the total height of the structure would be 38 feet.
Yep, so we actually got the approval through the airspace. We've actually been waiting for that approval. We wanted to do this project 2 or 3 months ago, but we were told we had to go through the airspace because if you go over 24 feet in wall, you have to get the airspace approval. So they said to do that first before going in front of you guys. So we actually got the approval through the airspace. So
So where are you gonna set this?
at the 508,
Right, but like, yeah,
Street.
the
Yeah,
corner
so
or back
there's a-
in,
Map.
There's a map here.
A plot.
so it'd be, yeah, well,
Be on the west
Here's
side,
the map.
northwest corner. Yes.
Then maybe forget to print that one.
Northwest corner, and here's Glen Street.
Yeah.
So it's set back from the stop sign a bit.
Correct.
yeah,
And then what federal agency approves the height?
the
Yeah.
airspace control.
Yeah, it's with FAA. The
FAA.
Airport has
Yeah.
told us that, you know, if there's anything in the traffic way, we have to have. Yeah,
And
they
you would
did that.
provide us with a copy
Yeah.
of that?
You
Yeah,
have,
It's on
that's,
Oh, it is here.
yeah, I think.
Oh, awesome.
I saw that.
That's good.
You have a door in it? Is that gonna be the building?
There'll be some pieces with the patio.
They'll actually be able to walk inside of it, upstairs onto the deck to kind of overlook.
More or less for a picture.
And it would be set up, the back of it would be against the motel. And then, and the other thing is we'd like to, for now, probably paint the motel, make it more, look a little better.
We're open to
anyways.
suggestions for the motel.
Yeah, and that can be a different conversation.
So you're gonna put it up again, okay, the motel. Are you gonna do it on
You
the
saw that.
grassy part then?
It'd be
I
on
can-
the ground.
It is on the ground.
Yeah, would it be the edge of the west edge of the motel? So like there, it's shaped like an L.
Yeah.
Here's the Red Rock, here's this part, it'd be right in that parking, the gravel park.
Okay, so it's not on that, okay.
Right.
I like it. Can you go on that?
No,
Okay.
I'll be the first one you can.
And you've looked it all over, Garrett?
Yep, we've talked about setbacks and they're willing to move it as far, but you know, to the east as we want, we, discuss future with the building and stuff too, as far as displaying stuff.
And so what did you say you're gonna do with the actual buildings that are there? You're gonna try to keep them or haven't decided?
We haven't really decided for sure yet, but we might try to utilize it for a display. Maybe build something on top for a display area, but open to ideas.
We'd have to have an inspector and.
That's gonna be a whole different deal.
Yeah, to see how much is selling.
But we'd like to get it cleaned up for the time being.
Yeah.
Are you gonna have enough parking there for people to stop?
Yeah, I mean, there should be a decent amount there.
Yeah, I think the parking lot should be fairly big enough, and then you got all the parking where the powerhouse is, and they can go across the street.
Sure.
We might have to put a stoplight at that intersection. Between Zach.
I think
the music.
I think it'll slow them down.
Yeah, maybe Zach and the Dalton brothers will take care of it.
Bringing life to that corner for sure. Okay, so. What are
When will
your
it be
thoughts?
completed?
We plan on starting the first or second week in September, and we figured about 3 to 4 weeks total by the time it's done.
Oh,
So
so you
it
aren't
won't
gonna
be
be up
ready.
and running.
No, we ideally, we were gonna start in April and then it got pushed back to June.
That was our plan, but then it took a few months for the airspace to get back to us. So we were waiting on them this last few months, and now it's kind of gonna be our grand opening, the Jackalope, so it's just kind of.
But if we get the okay, we might start doing a few things over there just to get things ready to go.
When we start displaying.
Do you two do the actual?
Is that all you guys is woodworking Keystone when you go
Yep.
around the car then?
Okay, so we need some approval of the sculpture as well as the building permit and the sign permit. So we take those one at a time, or can we do all of those at once?
I'd make a motion to approve them all, assuming that Garrett has.
Yeah, and I'll just mention the sign too, and they're gonna keep it the same width, but they want go from the top down another 4 feet.
If possible, if not, we're fine.
And I don't
Just
think
exchange.
It's not like a big deal.
And I don't think it'll scare any traffic, I mean, it's off to the side.
Do we know where the sign's gonna be located?
There's already an existing sign.
Yeah.
Well, what does that sign say now?
The Wall Motel. So where the L is, where they wanna put the Jackalope signs, right in that rock.
Okay.
So it already exists, they just wanna, change the artwork and make it closer to the ground. Not taller, down.
I second.
Okay, so I've had a motion and a second to approve the sculpture as well as the permits. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right,
Thank you guys very much.
great. We are looking forward to this.
Thank you. I talked to you.
That brings us to Tyler's split. Good evening, Tyler.
So.
Proven flat, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at buying a piece of land. Just looking for your approval for the plat. It'll have to be rezoned, but that'll go in planning and zoning. And I'm buying the piece of land just for the purpose of building a house.
Okay.
And the location is, right where, the Public Works removed that little brick building.
Yeah, there was a well 5 there. Yeah. Was abandoned.
Oh. Does everyone have an idea where this is at that we're talking about?
What is that road, Tyler?
Mettler Lane.
Yeah. It's pretty much where you go down Mettler Lane and then you can turn to go to Walker's.
So it's right on the corner.
Right on the
Oh.
corner, yeah.
Okay, you're out there in the country. then.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm getting that picture,
Yeah.
okay. And that's. Okay, so any other questions? In terms of approving the plat for Tyler?
So we approve the plat and then it'll go to planning zone, correct?
And then do we have to do the resolution separately?
Yeah, the resolution, yeah, I would like it separately, because that he'll need to take the plat up to get it registered after all the signatures are done, and then that resolution will also to get registered so that it becomes official.
All right. So do I have a motion to approve the plat then?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
And I'm abstaining.
Correct. Because he's purchasing that from you. that's
Yes.
your land. Okay, so any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, plat is approved,
Thank you.
and then the resolution,
It's just the wording and they require it to go along with the plat.
okay. Do I have a motion to approve the resolution then?
I would make the motion for resolution 22-909.
Okay, and there's a second, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, so plat and resolution, approved. How soon before you're gonna start, Tyler?
I don't know, it'll be a while.
This is first step, so congratulations, good job. Okay, number 14,
This is a request from the celebration committee that they ask every year for the parade to close the streets, which is the east side of Main from the clinic to Fourth Street and the Fifth Street side between the city office and the police station. And it's
Same
just,
as I said.
just a side note to let you know, panels will be set up Wednesday night and the 10th on Thursday.
okay. So do we have an approval to close the streets for celebration as specified?
I move that.
Motion and second.
Yeah.
Okay, moved in second, any further discussion?
I'd like
Oh,
to mention too, we need to work with them to figure out a way to keep that Tesla. The charging.
Oh,
station.
yeah, because, yeah, we can't shut that down. Don't we have a contract with Tesla?
You have to keep at least 4.
That scolded last year, didn't
Yeah, we did. From both ends. So I'm gonna work with them. I've already talked to them today about what we need to do, and we'll figure out a way to keep it.
oh, my
Because it's just so hard. They're working, you know, and if you just leave one. If you leave it open so the Teslas can get in, next thing you know, we have campers and trucks and they can't get in and then they can't get out. It's just,
But you can figure that out.
we'll try.
And I suppose we have to, I saw 2 Teslas charging there today. What's the most anybody's seen?
I've seen
It was
it full.
full at one night.
No, full? Oh, wow, all 8?
There must have been something going on.
But yes, they're busy all day long.
I walked by there today, there was one plugged in. And they left the car running, nobody was in the car, and I went, how does that work? They're charging and running at the same time, but.
Gotta keep cool, you know?
So I'll work with them.
Just to
Trying to
comment
come
on
up
that,
with
someone from the city should contact Tesla because they can put a notice out on their computer system, letting everyone who drives a Tesla know that there's limited stations available for whatever time frame.
We need at least 4.
I think that's what was in the contract.
Okay.
It would be at least 4 available at all times.
you? You know how to do that?
I think you
I
have
have
a
a
contact
contact.
person, but I just remember that was a comment that Tesla had made last year, that if we just let them know. I made the comment that they could just do it the second
Right.
weekend every July, but it's not. They could just make that a real.
Okay. All right, well, thank you, Jared, for working that out then, and Carolyn, you'll follow up with Tesla. And we get a motion on that?
Yep.
Okay, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Right. So public comments. Do we have anyone that would like to make a public comment? Neil?
For everybody who doesn't know me, my name is Neil Musket. I'm the vice president of the Already Roots Club. I just come down tonight to officially invite the council members to our rodeo. On Saturday night, we're going to recognize the council members during our rodeo for all the help and support that they've shown to the Rooster Club over the last, well, many years, but especially over the last few years on a huge projects we've undertaken there over the last couple of years. So without your help and support as a council, we probably wouldn't be able to get some of those done. So I'm going to show some appreciation and support throughout our rodeo on Saturday night. So I do know that Dawn sent some tickets to the council members to be handed out for to get into the rodeo. So
That's on Saturday, you said?
the rodeo, we have performance Friday and Saturday night yesterday, but we're gonna, we're gonna recognize the council members on Saturday night. Yeah.
And how are you going to recognize us?
We've got Grant Shears gonna bring in his, horse and team and, his team and, buggy, and we're gonna load you all up in the.
Thank you, I didn't want it to be a surprise.
In the buggy with Grant, and bringing the arena in the back of the.
On bulls.
The rough stuff.
Deal.
What time? I know it starts at 7, but did you have an idea?
You know, so at the start, it'll probably be mid rodeo, I assume about 8 o'clock during intermission, because, at the start of the rodeo, we're gonna recognize the first responders and especially the fire department for their great work that they did on fire on Main Street. So we're gonna talk about that a little bit at the start of the rodeo and recognize that. And then during intermission is when we're gonna bring the council members in and recognize you guys, so. It'll be mid rodeo. It's hard to give the exact time frame. The rodeo starts at 7 o'clock sharp and it'll be mid rodeo, so.
So, where would these guys like be in the right spot so they could get into the lake?
Well, it'll come in from the north end of the arena, and we'll have maybe some finer details, approach myself or Dawn or Dan at the rodeo, and we'll have some finer details on exactly, but we'll enter the road, the arena on the north end there, and the horse and jeep will be there.
So how many of you think you can be there for sure? Kelly, would you like to join this party?
I couldn't get up on the buggy.
I'll help you.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they can make that happen.
What kind of, is it a buggy?
I think he's bringing in his fancy
They'll figure out a way.
wagon, yeah, that seat has seats up and down each side, so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
It's very nice.
lots of room and easy to get into, yeah.
You mean we can be absent from that?
No,
Okay, I just wanted to know for sure.
I can be there. I'm gonna be there. I'm not gonna miss fun.
Yeah.
I probably will be working.
Okay.
But I might be able to break over.
yeah, just for a minute.
Just tell the customers, hold on, I'll be right back.
And being recognized.
That sounds like a,
We vote for a wagon ride.
Yeah.
so I think you're gonna have a pretty good turnout.
That'd be great, but it's, it's like I said, without the support and the help from the council and our large projects that we've taken on there, sure wouldn't have been able to go ahead without some help, so. As you've always probably seen, the amount of work that's been down there the last, especially this year, but the last 2 or 3 years, we have I think one of the best small town facilities in the state, if not the best. I mean, you gotta look at the big, whether it's, look at Beltbush or Deadwood, some of the big ones, we're not far off being it better or as good as those facilities, for a small town, so.
I did see this evening on the news, they mentioned the wall rodeo this coming weekend, right after they were talking about the Beltbush one. We've got some advertising there.
So kind of give us an idea what's happening Thursday.
So on Thursday night is the slack performances, so we have a men's slack at 5 p.m. and a women's slack at 8 p.m., which is all the extras that we couldn't fit into the 2 performances on that day. And then Friday, we have the Jerry Boulevard Memorial Ski Tripping, and that starts at 10 a.m. and it'll run 2 or 3 hours, and then Friday night and Saturday night, we have our performances, at 7 p.m. So that's the kind of schedule for the rodeo. It should be, got a lot of good entries, so it should be a great rodeo. Great.
Okay. All right,
All right, thank you very much for your time, appreciate it.
Thanks, Neil.
thanks, Neil. Okay, do we have any other public, comments tonight?
I just had a quick question for Carolyn.
Oh, okay.
Carolyn, did they say anything about the beer license? Is that the same thing void or what's the status of that?
Yes, they said,
It's all void.
Okay, any other public comment?
Yeah,
Oh,
one quick
Jim.
one. I mentioned to Carolyn, part of I got a phone call from Bond Home Colony down by Yankton. They're coming this week sometime. They're very interested in buying up in both. So hopefully we'll be gone this week, hopefully.
Great. Okay. Good. Great. Any other comments? All right, moving on then to our building permits for Jessica Livermore.
I recently went over there and, found her property pins. Explained to her that she can't have a fence in her front yard, so she was just gonna go off. Looking at that where the tank and the tree is, she was just gonna go off the edge of the house to the alley, and she didn't know for sure if she was gonna go all the way to the door for sure, or just stay in the side yard there. But I said, if you guys, if you guys approve to that door, that I'm guessing that just that little side yard would be okay too, so.
So measurement wise, it's all good. It's
Yep, just with that change from the fence in the front yard.
Okay.
And she said she was gonna stay off the property line between her and the neighbor.
okay. Any other questions? Do I have a motion to approve the building permit for Jessica?
So,
Is there a second?
Second.
Third. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so that permit is approved, and then we have one for Joe Martin.
Yep,
Would like to
Joe's-
talk about that?
Joe's in the mobile home court, when I talked to him, just a deck on the front door, his back door. Wants to put, fence around it because he has a dog, and then just new skirting and siding on it.
Okay, and is he one of the teachers?
Yeah, he's the new athletic director.
Athletic director? Okay. Any other further questions? Do I have a motion to approve Joe Martin permit?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, approved. Okay, library. Linda,
That was me.
yes, thanks for being
All
here.
right, first I'm gonna send around the poster we put around town to advertise our event. And Carolyn, did you get that this morning? I sent it
Yeah,
yesterday.
and I've included.
Everybody's got that?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So that's a sign, and as near as I can tell, it's very similar to the one that, Nana's Mercantile has up front. The chalkboard, so you can write the sign, message on there. And then this is the artist we're having come, and this is the kind of work he does. And he actually does really big posters. So we're announcing the artist coming, and we're also having a book distribution, we called it. Because the library has some excess books and we've been trying to rehome them. We do have the free libraries out front, and, people can take a book anytime they want. But we're having a special, giveaway distribution along with our artist event too. So that would be on that sign, and that's what we're looking for, is to be able to put the sign out. I'm not sure if, Terry, was thinking right outside on the sidewalk or on the street by the yellow line, or on the corner. I'm not sure where we should put it, so I'll leave that up to
No.
you.
What are we talking about? Putting where?
This sign,
I was just thinking that probably shouldn't be on the sidewalk.
okay, not on the sidewalk. But there's the yellow line right out there on the street, and then there's that railing, because we're right up here. We're gonna be in the community room.
Oh, you're out here.
Yeah, we're right out here. We'll be in the community room, so the sign would be Either on
Over
this-
here, not by the library.
correct.
Oh,
Correct. I'm sorry, I didn't make that clear.
well,
Yeah, I just noticed it on your poster that, yeah, that's what she's talking about.
Yeah, we'll be in the community room, be set up in there. Anybody can come, the artist is going to have a workshop for a couple hours, so we're pretty excited about it. So what we'll do is we'll write on the sign with chalk and then put that up. And since nobody's supposed to park by the yellow lines, we could just set it on the other side of that railing out here.
Now, we have told locals that they can, we have told locals that they can pop there for just a quick minute to run a payment into the city or anything, so. I guess, like during the election, they had vote here, sign tripod sitting right.
So in
by the
this is a
door.
1 day deal.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From,
I don't know, I would-
what's your time it says on that
Noon
sheet?
to 4:30. Noon
Yeah.
to 4:30, yep.
4:30.
I would think you could put it right at the entrance of the building, right next to the building.
Okay.
Here.
Sure.
I mean, but,
That's a big site. We need a motion.
Library committee, I'd like to make a motion to approve the same permit.
Okay, is there a
I'll
second? Okay, it's been moved and seconded for the sign permit. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Thank you.
this will be a fun new addition to celebration, right? You've never done anything like this before, right? Awesome. Good job.
Mayor, do you need us for anything else?
Okay, we'll be in touch. Keep up the good work out there.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing the rain too, by the way. Okay, so really, economic development. Report?
Just a few things here, update on the housing study is underway. The study will include the latest demographic and housing information for the city. The completion date been delayed. So, it was put to August 2022, so hopefully next, month, we're gonna see the completed housing study. Update on the senior living facility, our consultant completed phase 1 and phase 2 for us, which is include assessment of internal and external market studies, site analysis, property best use recommendation, and also infrastructure needs, suggested site layout, building designs, and marketing material. So our next step is to schedule meeting that works for everyone on the committee to review her work. Another thing I would like to mention about community garden, maybe you guys noticed we have some pumpkin patch planted over there. I still remember 6 or 8 of them, but this is what those little things over there, if you've seen it. And last thing, economic development, the chamber actually partnering up to sponsor lunches for our egg producers during the harvesting season at the elevator here. We're just gonna do some kind of a set lunch to go lunch for them so they can come grab it and go on with their day. Not sure when it's gonna happen. I'm kind of keeping in touch with Jerry on that, so sometime end of July, maybe beginning of August, but that's what we're planning to do. And that's all I have.
Okay,
And then, how long are you, so during harvest, you're gonna have to-go lunches for
Yep.
the,
Yeah, it's gonna be some kind of sandwich and a cookie and maybe some drink.
oh, that's,
So they can come, grab it and go on with their day.
oh, that's really thoughtful. That'll be great.
She just wants to know when harvest is gonna start, what time the trucks are gonna come in.
Will you fill her out on that, Gary?
Depends on the humidity, the rain. I mean,
What kind of trucks get free?
I think you'll be very much appreciated for sure, especially this year for those producers out north. And that.
I think number gonna decrease due to the recent storm just happened, so. But we're still gonna have some, right, Jerry?
You bet. Just not a whole lot of people from out north.
Okay, thanks, Lily.
Thank you.
All right. So, Mike, would you like to talk to us or Garrett about this transportation? door?
Mike and I have been talking about it. I just really want to appreciate you guys, kind of taking over on that. Been crazy busy. It's taken a long time, but I appreciate the help a lot.
And the timing, that's why I just kind of stepped in as he was working on the fire stuff. So basically what we kind of have going on with the transfer station down there. There's two big doors which face the south. And then there is a walk-in door also on the south side. And then on the lower side, on the west and east side is where they pull through and then they haul out of there. At any rate, the east door, it's been an ongoing issue. Garrett had called a number of times to a company which the city's worked with in the past in regards to coming down because that east door wasn't working. There was a number of issues with it and they just weren't coming down. And then finally she just told me if I wanted it fixed, then I was probably gonna need to have to call somebody else. So I did, and that individual came down the next day. And got that working, because the west door, that faces south. I think Gary said that one pretty old as well. The actual door is like 25. And if that started to have issues, which it has, then they can't even back the truck in there for trash, so it stopped everything, so. Basically, he came down, he got, the east door, which wasn't functioning. And he went to the lower side, on the west side, that had a number of issues, and he didn't have all of the materials to get that taken care of, but kind of got it functioning, and then it hit another issue. And then he came back down with the correct amount of supplies and got that functioning, so. Which, I mean, out of that, I think we got with a really good company, and he's willing to, you know, stop what he's got going on, come down and help us out, so. Have you gotten any of the bills yet for that, Caramel? So, Gary was real happy, Kiefer was, you know, really happy. I mean, they are leasing that building from us, and, you know, we need to make sure that it's functioning the way that it should, so.
And that's one thing too, I can't remember, are they in charge of? There's something that. The doors, we're in charge of. Breaks we pay for it, but they're like the yearly inspection, I think is what they were supposed to. So that's something we probably need to check into, I just make sure that it's getting done.
You know, as far as
The yearly inspection.
by the company, sure.
The east lower door is not a problem.
It is, but Mike said you got, or the east one, no.
The west, sorry. Yeah, the west. So, I mean, it's kind of a real bad situation because if they have a problem on that door down there, they can't get out to dump. And if one of the upper doors or both of the upper doors had problems, they wouldn't even be able to dump it into the bin, so. If you got me that date, Carolyn, of when the last inspection was done, I can get a hold of that company and just tell them to put it on the calendar just to do it. And that would be at the management, waste management's cost. I'm pretty sure, yeah. So everything right now is working well.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mike, for the research you did on that and to keep that going, especially with everything that Garrett was trying to deal with at that same time, so. Okay, so you'll just keep us updated on that progress then. We understand what you're doing and why, and so we will look forward to more information. Okay, animal concern, number 19.
The concern that you guys have was with an animal, from what I understood, the form that was filled out is running at large, but that animal is licensed, so I guess I just need direction from you to send a letter out.
There was two, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
A black,
Yeah, I'm not sure how we monitor cats, to be honest with you.
They don't want to be monitored.
I mean, we. Our ordinance, or the license, the form does say cats and dogs, but I don't know that our ordinance actually is specific for cat, but it's just dogs.
Cats don't really cause.
Don't know how you monitor this.
We've got one in our house, he doesn't mind any. I've got a question, and I have really studied this. Carolyn, does this replace what we have now?
Okay, so he's moving ahead to the resolution and the first reading. But do we need to, first of all, give you direction to send a letter regarding this, because this isn't in place yet, is that correct? So could I have a motion to address this concern form?
Can we just in the letter say animals?
Oh, sorry.
No, you're okay.
Yeah, well, so,
So do we know whose dog this is?
Yes.
We do, okay.
but was it like in their yard, or are they just upset that it was walking around?
It was not specific and I was not able to get much information.
So maybe we just ask for more details on it. I mean, can you consider an animal that's walking around in an fenced area? I would just tell them.
Struggle with these animals, to be honest.
Yeah.
with you.
And you know, that is a great suggestion, and then maybe we can deal with it over here, okay? Do I have a consensus of that? Okay, we will address,
And if you need me to, Carolyn, I can call and see what, get better details.
okay, so then that, and Rick, you were anxious to address that. First,
All I thought about.
you have a very good reason,
Yes,
and I don't know if you want to share that, but
well, recently a couple adult residents of Wall were bitten. And so that goes right, and I liked how this ordinance it just made it very clear and I just read this yesterday afternoon, late afternoon, and then an hour later was involved in the situation. So it's really nice having boom, 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 what we're supposed to do. And law enforcement responded very well.
Were they local dogs that we're gonna see a complaint on, Rick?
Well, the dog is gonna be. It's not in quarantine, thank you. Quarantine for 10 days, that's mandatory. And then, you know, if we work at it like this. I mean, we're definitely gonna have to address it at some point.
okay, so with that in mind, and we need to consider the first reading of this animal ordinance. So if we look at that, and if you reviewed that, does anyone have any more suggestions than what already has been given to us that are highlighted in red? Oh, I'm sorry.
All right.
Okay,
I just wanted to say, I think the ordinance and the resolution as they're written now really captured the city council's intentions from last week's meeting. And I was very happy to see that. But I did have some comments and concerns. One is, in some places it says like one animal, and other places it has the S on it. And to me, it should be both in there, because in my neighborhood, we're dealing with 2 to 3 dogs. So it needs to be singular and plural throughout the ordinance and the resolution. Also the fines, the way I read those both is that the fines are per incident rather than per animal. And when I say there's been 2 dogs involved, then they should double the fine. If there's 3 dogs involved, it should be triple the fine. I mean, it doesn't exactly say that, but maybe there's a way to clarify And then I thought in other meetings that you've had, that there was a comment about removing the animal or animals from the city limits and they would not be allowed to return to the city. But I don't see that any reflected anywhere in the ordinance.
Well,
And
on the dog that's bitten a human or another animal, D is the owner will be given a chance to remove the dog or dogs from the city wall. And that's been in play in the past when there was a biting incident, the dog had to go.
okay.
It's here, 2D, if still not in compliance at a clear violation, impound the animal. Oh, and it doesn't. No, you're right, it doesn't say that.
So that was another question I had. And then when it talks about impoundment, it just says a dog or animal will be impounded. Okay, my question is how long? Or does the owner completely lose their rights to that animal? Because by the time you get to the fourth complaint, there's clearly a bigger problem there.
I think once it's, as far as how long and all of that, that would probably be up to the Humane Society, wouldn't it, if the animal was picked up by the sheriff's department. Even the fine would go with them.
But it doesn't say
our
where
fine.
the impoundment will occur. Will it be in the garage here in town or does it go to Rapid City?
Would be Rapid City. Picked up
And this needs to be cleaned up kind of a lot. I mean, it's really good, but
Yeah.
it's,
And then, the last question I had, well, second to last, was it mentions expenses. I mean, it doesn't say expenses in here, but there's gonna be an expense with impounding an animal. So hopefully the city doesn't have to pick that up. I mean, who's gonna pay for the expense of impounding it? Or the Humane Society gets it and then they deal with it, whatever fashion. I guess there's no answer in the ordinance as it's written right now.
and I don't, Linda, I know you worked on this a lot. It seems like the rules differentiate between a licensed dog and a unlicensed dog. Really, what difference does it make? As long as it's running around the park or biting people.
Trespassing or threatening people.
I mean, does it, I don't see, dogs are supposed to be licensed
And leash.
and leashed.
But those are just some of the questions I had. And then, the last thing was who impounds the animal? And I know according to the ordinance, law enforcement is in one section and authorized personnel, which is public works, is in another section. Do we need to refer to those two sections in this part of the?
I think that's a very good point, and I think, I thought we even talked about that if the animal needs to be impounded, that law enforcement needs to take care of that, 'cause that's touchy.
Yeah.
I mean, there
I
should
don't
be
want
somebody
Garrett
with,
getting bitten or anybody else.
well, it should be just somebody who
He'll be the good
has.
guy.
You toughen them up right away, right? Okay, that's all I had. Thank you. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Linda.
My only comment, she had some good, could we put the fines separate? Cause they're kind of lost in the A, B, C, and D. Could we just say fines for this?
Somehow
Warning.
enumerate that.
Yeah,
Warning, the,
first fine, second fine,
Yeah.
third fine, and then,
and then they can go.
and then,
animal, I like that part.
yeah, that's good. And then, and by the time it gets to, after we've given a warning, first fine, second fine, third time, then maybe,
Shouldn't we, I think by the fourth time, they need to remove the dog from the city. Cause then you're at 5. Cause if you have the warning, first fine, second fine, third fine, then get them out, that's. that's a lot of
I misspoke. the second offense. You have the warning, and then the second offense. Is the first time it's a fine, and then it's third or fourth, so then the fourth would be impoundment. I mean, the dog's gotta go, because they're not cooperating and. We've kind of run the course on what we could do, I mean, there has to be a time. That, you know, if the dog is still barking or running around after all that, you know. The owner isn't taking care of the situation, and we would need to involve the police, and you're right.
And we approve of the suggested fines, like second offense is 100, and then,
Third, 250.
okay,
Per animal, right?
How do you get, when you get this all finished, how do you get this out to the public so they're completely aware of our new ordinance and
It's published in the paper.
When they get a license, they have to license the dog every year, they can give them a copy of it every time they get a license. They have their license.
Well, and then, couldn't we send the ordinance with the letter?
Once it's,
Once it's done,
yeah, it has to have 2 readings, then it has to go past that 20-day publication and all that. Yeah,
So what you're saying, their first letter, send a copy, so they know for sure.
I'd almost like to see them have to sign that they've received the ordinances when they come in to apply for a license, but then they might not come in now.
If you're gonna change it, you could also post it like in the post office and whatnot. People will normally read what's on the bulletin board there. Post it in conspicuous places.
well, and we'll have it online. Too.
but Jerry, your point is to get the information out ahead of time and make people much more aware of how much it's being tightened up, correct?
Yes, because I mean, so they don't have another excuse to come back and say they didn't know this.
Because this will tighten things up, so they get a warning, they get a fine, they get a bigger fine. Then number 4, the dog is impounded. And it'll be effective, and it'll give the dog owners incentives to take care of their animals.
Okay, so Carolyn, if we approve, the resolution, we are, accepting the notations that have been put in here already, right? So this would come back to us as a clean document with the additions of enumerating what the warning and then what the fine is.
I would question though, approving the resolution before you've actually approved the ordinance. Because there may be some additional changes after the second reading and people have thought about it that might need to be included in that resolution.
Okay, so deal with the ordinance. And then hold on the resolution until,
Well, and you can have further discussion on it, you know, I mean,
Okay.
just make sure everybody is, and that with any changes, that it would reflect in the resolution if it needed to, with whatever changes were made.
okay.
But you can approve a first reading, with the changes. Or you, I don't know. You've thrown a lot of comments out there that I'm gonna try to
Capture.
yeah, and get sent to Stephanie to see that that all gets included, so if you make too many changes to a first reading, it's like you have to start over again anyway, so. between the first and second reading, if
Right.
you make too many changes, then
Right.
it's almost like you just gotta start it. from the first reading.
Okay, so does anyone have any more thoughts then on the ordinance? Before we consider it the first reading?
Where's the ordinance?
Well, there's an ordinance and there's a resolution.
Oh,
It's two sheets.
it is, okay. 2203, okay. Never see this. So Carolyn, what do we need to do now?
I think just send all these comments to Stephanie so that she can include it in that next. I mean, like she said, this was just a first stab at it. She wasn't present here to collect all that, so I'm gonna try and capture it and send it to her to revise what she's already done.
So maybe we don't even move on this now?
I wouldn't, I mean, there's just been too many changes and comments on what she's done.
Okay,
Carolyn, are you gonna work on that?
I'm gonna try and share with her and along with, she can watch this recording as well and be able to get some of that information to then put it in that ordinance.
okay, so do I have consensus that that would be what we do? Take the notes, the comments, send it back to Steph, and with Carolyn and Steph working together, let them come back to us again. So we can get this right the first time. Is that okay with you, Jerry? Kelly? Okay, we'll do that then. All right, so. That brings us to the airport.
So the airport committee met and, with the airport engineer and the FAA is ready to, try and get this bidding in this fiscal year. And Preston, you comment if I did not capture all of the engineer's comments, but I sent you the comments that Rod sent back. He sent an expense of what the projected expense for this project is that will be going to bid. I need a motion to approve going to bid, and then he commented on that, an update to the project, what it would include, and the one thing to remember, even though this is like a $6 million project, the city's portion would be 5% of that you would have to. You'll be paying that cost all up front, of course, because you have to make the payments, but the FAA pays for.
And we've been putting a little
90%.
money aside. Since we've been working on this project for 15 years almost. so. The way I understand, it'll be bid this year and construction.
Yes, they'll be receiving bids that, or the bid opening will be the 27th of July. And then, be awarded at the August 4th city council. Would you have any comments you'd like to share about the project, Kathleen, that?
Not a lot, just the one thing she mentioned is the city's on the hook for 5%. The feds pay for 90%, the state currently is picking up the other 5%. There's not very many projects of this size that you never have an opportunity for that cheap of an entry into on the city's portion. And if we don't do anything now, who knows where the feds will be down in the future, but this might be our last chance of trying to get an expansion before any new rules change. We're already kind of cornered in there, and they've given us more leeway than we thought they maybe would. And I think they're on board, and I would suggest that for the future of that airport and for the city to have an extension of about 1,000 feet to what you've got to allow some
So then we'll have,
bigger airplanes. to come.
you'll have a 4,500 foot runway. right?
Yeah, I think it might be slightly short, I can't remember if it's like 49.95 or what it comes out to, but just. It's real close to that 4,500 feet, so we might be about 5 feet or 50 feet short of that, but. We're at our limits, we'll never get any bigger than that unless the right of way for the railroad would disappear at some point in time. But for all intents and purposes, unless the city grows drastically, that size airport should serve well for the next century.
So what kind of planes will be able to land there now that aren't able to now?
You'll probably see a little bit more jet traffic. Jets tend to need a little bit longer runway. They're gonna be small jets, but Jack Link was the only jet that was ever in here. He had one of the smallest jets, a 6-passenger jet that would come in. King Airs, twin engine turboprops, like the governor's aircraft, that kind of thing would be more likely to come in here. What this also gains you is an instrument approach, which we have never had in the past. So if conditions aren't, VFR to where you can actually see out, it's not going to be as good as say going to Rapid. But if the weather's marginal, they still may be able to land here, where in the past it was, they either had to go to Phillip or they had to go to Rapid City. So, I mean, in the worst weather, they're still gonna have to go to Rapid, because we're not gonna have what they call precision approach, well, non-precision approach. Is what they're working for once they get this extension done. So that'll open up the reliability of being able to make it in and get here on their time schedule. So I think it's an excellent opportunity. It is going to be a project that shuts down the airport for the entire summer. It's going to be closed from the beginning of construction, which they estimated in April, to, I don't remember how far into the fall they thought it could go, but the airport would be closed for that period of time.
What does that do to your business?
I will be able to work a situation to maintain access for hangering purposes, for like weather and that kind of stuff. But we won't be able to pull loads out of there, so it's gonna be a little bit of a runaround circus for that year. We'll be working more loads out of Sturgis, more loads out of Phillip. Possibly some loads off county roads if we can find good ones and can get them shut down. I have to look into that. They used to allow that in the past for certain circumstances. And possibly there's a few grass strips in areas that could work back up and get the condition to run some loads out. So I'll make it work as long as the city's committed to get that project done.
And this is 2024. Or is it 2023?
2023 is.
23 is what they.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was pretty aggressive move, but it'd be great if they could pull it off. So.
Would you be able to use the grass runway, or will it keep you out of it completely?
It's a little bit of a fine line to the general flying public. That will be closed. It'll be closed when I land on it. I will not be legal landing on it. Basically, what that does when that happens is it removes any liability on their side, because I'm doing something that's not.
Quit asking questions.
We'll make it work. We'll be in and out, but yeah, the grass, there is no construction on the grass. It's purely the asphalt portion. The grass will remain as is. If there's any questions, I'll try to answer them, but other than that, I don't have any.
We just need a motion to proceed.
Approve going to bid.
I'd make that motion, we approve the bid for the airport project.
Okay, the motion's been made to go to bid. Who seconded? Jerry? Okay, any further discussion?
How much of that 5% do we have put away?
I think Carolyn said the other day, 100, about half of it.
Well, I checked, it's 100, I think it's 120,000.
So
But,
she-
well, and there will be another 12,500 that'll go in for this year, so.
Pretty close to that.
Yeah.
So she's been doing a good job stockpiling that money, so. Good job. Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Motion approved to go to bed. All right. That brings us to the mayor's report. So as Dana earlier alluded to, I have been working on the Echo Valley project with the South Dakota Housing Authority. And I waited patiently for the most recent guidelines, which just came out on Thursday. And there's a 2-week comment period on these new guidelines. And then supposedly applications would be available August 1st. But as I read this, it is not gonna work for Echo Valley at all. And so consequently, I have moved ahead with the idea that we would just go for a loan, because screwy things that they're putting into this, like for the water, it's only improved waters. It's not any new waters. And for the road servicing, well, you have to replace it back to that existing service. So it doesn't make a bit of sense in terms of putting a new road in. And then the sanitary sewer, it's again, just written so that it will not work in our case. So if anybody wants some great reading time, this is available online, or you are welcome to study that further. So with that being said, I have moved forward, and this is a draft copy of the 13-page application, but the most important page for us, I will share with you, which is page number 5, which talks about what the amount of the loan that I would be seeking, and the process at the encouragement of the people at South Dakota Housing is that we, I will first of all send it in to them, let them give us feedback, since these are dollars that are coming from a $2 million fund that's been, nobody's ever noticed it, or hasn't noticed it for some time, probably because it's too darn small for some of those that are looking around for dollars. So the amount that I came up with, and I'm using the KLJ estimate that they gave us for Echo Valley. And so the amount that I'm working with is the 1,400,000, and the other amount is the amount for the contingency and the construction administration. So that's why I'm going with the dollar amount that I'm working with. And so what I will do is send the application in, let them give us feedback. One of the requirements then is that we put forward 1/8% of the requested amount, which should come out to be about $1,863. But we do not have to send that in with the application. I'm going to send it in first, let them give us feedback. So if they need to do any changes, or I need to do any changes to make it better, and they've indicated they would help me do so, then at that point I would need the application fee. So I'm reluctant to even have you approve this amount, but at least you know that it would cost us in the area of $1,800 or $1,900 or whatever to go in with the application. It's a 5-year amortized loan, and it starts out with a 1%, 2%, 3% per year with a balloon. And so they would help us figure out what that amortization is. And I'll work with the MOU that you established with Echo Valley already in terms of what that payback would look like. So I'm just making you aware that that's where I'm at in this status. I am trying to get it in quite soon because this other application is gonna be opened up on August 1st. And I was part of the conversation, or I listened to when they were talking about this at the board meeting. And I recognized some of those names of people that were attending it. And there's gonna be a lot of people after that $50 million, which is not gonna go very far. So I think if we can get over in this category, we will at least have a better chance of getting some dollars. Nothing guaranteed, but that's where what I'm working on. Does that make sense to anybody or concerns or, okay? So I would come back to you at a later date when I know exactly what that fee will be, so that we can move forward on that. Okay, so that was, my biggest, thoughts for right now. And, I have been in conversation with Toby and with Dana. He's also been helping me, working those numbers. So that's my report for tonight.
That's very exciting.
Okay, we'll keep moving ahead. And then, Carolyn, do you want to talk about the Main Street loan then?
Well, it's gonna be kind of brief, but I'm just kind of excited. We made the last payment on our Main Street loan. We took out
Perfect.
2012, so I just thought that was exciting.
Just in time to go borrow one.
Makes it better.
So that's really all I have to share.
Okay, good news. Thank you so much. Okay, so Jared, what do you have for?
I don't have much. We're just getting caught up from working down the street, clean up, then the morning of the 4th, Trevor and I went out and cleaned up a bunch of gravel on, where did we go? South Boulevard, over here on the corner of Glen and Fifth, and one other spot, just because it was kind of a danger. Then more, what's that?
You're right.
From the rain, you know, the big rain. And found quite a few more today, so we've been busy getting that cleaned up. And I fogged ones for mosquitoes. I'm gonna do it again, just depending on the humidity and.
Garrett, there's some flies too.
What's that?
I was out in the garage when you come by the front street or the back street, pretty soon that little flies spinning around them.
Oh, really? Good to know what works.
That's kind of cool.
That was like a perfect night. I've never had it work so good. I went out to the golf course, drove down Golf Course Road, you know, bogging, so it drifted in there and went in, and pretty soon the drift from the road came through, so. So yeah, and then also Quinn contacted me about going down there and bogging for them too, so, and we've done it in the past, just charging wages and chemical costs.
So you think that for celebration will be in pretty mosquito free?
I hope so. All the water holes filled back up again. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And I do put in to control the larvae, but it's so hard to pick where the water's been set. Not a really good idea. So I'm trying to do it that way too.
Okay. So thank you also for getting on top of the lot of water that came in a very short time.
So I think honestly, I think it went out of town pretty good over on this side. It wasn't as fast as it should be, but it cleared out pretty good. We're gonna look into some options of cleaning up some weeds and stuff to get it to flow better.
But you have been mowing ditches.
Yep, the only ditch that's not mowed is the one by the railroad property over here.
Okay.
Which could be, and I don't know who owns it all, but we'll get it.
Okay.
Taken care of.
Because it could be railroad ditch. We don't, is that what
Yeah,
you're saying?
it's on railroad property. So,
Okay,
but they've mowed it before, but I'll look into it.
visiting with them
Yeah,
about maybe getting
if
to that.
we have to do it, we have to do it.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Oh, that's it.
Okay,
Garrett, a great job cleaning up the fire site, the cactus.
Thank you.
Amazing. How you headed that up.
Now, once we got it figured out, it went real quick.
Boy, that was a big job.
I was out of town over the weekend, heard the fire, works got canceled.
Yep,
Tell this coming for it?
yep,
Will it be after the rodeo or how are you gonna time it?
that I don't know, it's probably a good idea, but I'll talk to him. And see what the plan is for sure. I didn't stick around after they just said they were canceling that at home, so. But I think that'd be a good idea to go after the rodeo. And I think last time we did it out there, it was.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, and I got a lot of comments that people were upset because we didn't do it, but. You know, because it was muddy, and well, before it rained. They were calling me and I was like, well, it was muddy out there, and then. As soon as, you know, doing the timeline, as soon as we would have got set up to shoot them off, it would have started pouring rain and ruined $5,000 worth of fireworks, so.
Right,
So it was a good.
Good deal, good decision.
but that would be fun if you do it. You know, sometime Friday, Saturday night, or that would be cool.
The plan was Friday, but I'll talk
Okay.
to Jim and sure that it will be later.
Okay, yep. They changed it the last time.
To move from the rodeo over, or?
Yep.
Okay.
They
Yep,
timed
just,
it pretty good last time, that we did
Yeah.
it that way.
just, you know, with the animals too, they're performing and stuff. And there was talks of people wanting to move it over on this side of town, but I just don't know. I don't think we have enough time to prepare with the airport being out there and stuff.
Yeah, true.
But it would be nice if we could come up with a plan B for some.
Right. Okay. Sounds good. Well, thank you very much. Okay, is there any items for discussion? No action would be taken, but does anyone have some items that they wanna?
I did have, someone come into the office, it's actually Deputy Christopherson, and he had concern with the drainage ditch over there by his house. And, which he realized it's, you know, not an ordinary rain that we had. I know, but, but he said that he had thought that the city had made or had said that they would try to, build up the ditch with some rock and stuff to keep it from sliding. He feels that it's slipping away because it's affecting his fence. I don't know if you remember that conversation. It actually happened 6:30 of 2021, the minutes is where I found. And it was commented in the minutes that, it was decided to add base course and larger rock to help with the erosion. So I said I would try and find that and bring it up to you guys, but I don't know that you can actually take action on it. I just said I would bring it up for items for discussion. So do you want it on the agenda for the next meeting for further discussion and give Garrett time to kind of check things out over there? Maybe would that be the plan?
Yeah, let's let Garrett take a look at it and see, or what are your thoughts?
Who's like, you know, I'll definitely look at it. I just, who's on like, I'd say the street committee. I mean, we have them come and look, so you know, somebody else has a visual of it, just decides my opinion too.
Right.
So
Okay,
I just asked maybe one or two of those guys would meet with me if that works for you.
Yes.
guys.
I received a complaint on the water runoff. The other night, too, on Sunday night, it was down over here. In behind the city parking lot, then they said across the tracks over to.
Yeah, the engineer looked it up today and it was 100-year flood, like based on the amount of rain and the time.
It used the ditch that we had to put in at the Code Mill Drain
It did.
for 100 years. Well, it used it for-
okay. Amazing what all you've had to handle in a very short time. So, yeah, again, thank you very much. Okay, any other items for discussion or comments? Okay, our next city council meeting is scheduled for July 21st at 6:30. That puts us back on schedule for Thursdays, right?
Hmm.
Okay, And then we are scheduled to go into an executive session, so
I make a motion, we go into executive session for the purpose of discussing legal personnel issues regarding the STCL 1-25-2.
all those in favor say aye.
I
Aye.
Oh, we'll go into executive session.